Oh, hello. Hello. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Well, let's wait for people to come in the live. Hello, good morning, good morning. I'm waiting for the Senorito JDL. There you go. Hey, the statement, brother, from Singapore. Thank you for tuning in. My little brother is online. Hello, Carl. Okay, we're gonna have Senorito, my tag amigo, Jake De Leon, on the program. Hello, hello. Good morning to everyone here in Southeast Asia.
Umaga. Good morning,
Magandang
guys. Good
umaga,
morning,
kapatid.
Ken.
Hello.
I said the last week would have been the latest episode we've ever had, but you had to top it this week, man. 12 a.m. 12
It's,
a.m.
it's competition, brother. I don't know. I don't know,
I
man.
know. I understand. I understand. How you feeling? How you feeling?
Nervous, but I'm happy. But you know what? I'm happy because it's my neck of the woods. 12 midnight is my zen
Mm,
time and my most creative time, sort of. I think.
yeah. All right. Well, this is not my Zen time, obviously, but I'm here. I'm here, ready to moderate. And to everyone tuning in, again, thank you for joining hashtag PWOG Live. This is basically a show where Ken and I just talk to each other during the quarantine times and then interview personalities, wrestlers that we meet, we want to know about more online, and we want you guys to know more about also. So, thank you for joining us to the 9 people that are here right now. And Ken, how was your Labor Day? How was your Labor Day actually?
Labor Day, I haven't had a day off since I had a day job last year. This is
Mm-hmm.
my only holiday. This is my only experience of a holiday and day off simultaneously in a year. So I've been
Really?
happy. It's been great, man. It's been great. But wait.
That's
Before,
good.
amigo, before I ask you a question, can you please
Uh-huh.
pin the comment on, below the support the one that we are supporting for to well not just today but for the whole month.
Let me just get that in a bit because I again this is not my time or neck of the woods. So let me just get that and then I'll pin it in a bit. Just wait a bit.
Alrighty, I'll be here. I'll be
But
here.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna pin it. I'm gonna pin it like when Aaron Solo comes on. So
Alrighty,
just I'll
alrighty.
comment it and then just make sure to pin it.
Actually,
Because
I
like my
can comment it.
internet.
Should I just comment it? What do you think?
Yeah, you can also comment it. Yeah,
Yeah. All right. Well, okay.
you got it copy pasted already.
While I am pasting this link, how was your Labor Day, amigo?
Uh oh, there we go. Yes, that is a
Dang
good
it.
pin comment.
You hold it
My
right there.
Labor Day
There you go.
was
There you go.
very. I think it was relaxing. I was just, I kept researching on one of our other guests, like coming up this week, Cheeseburger on Sunday. So just tried to relax. Like the quarantine has been getting pretty bad, pretty rough. We got 15 more days left, I think. Cause yeah,
14
so I'm
now
just,
because it's May 1. Well, May 13? Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, it's
Lost
May
count.
2 now, so yeah, around 14, I guess. So I'm just trying, just hanging in there, like everyone else is hanging in there. So I hope everyone's like staying sane, making sure that their mental health is good also, because this is not fun. But this is why we're doing stuff like this because we want to make it fun.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's not just a distraction, but rather we just want to provide entertainment and provide our own little provide support and aid to our frontliners locally fighting COVID-19. With if you can see the pinned comment down below, that's the latest partnership between Philippine Wrestling Revolution and Ticket to Me. So it's about Mabuhay ang wrestling, mabuhay ang Pilipino. Help our COVID-19 frontliners save lives. So buy PWR's Mabuhay ang Wrestling tees and part of the proceeds will be donated for the production and distribution of PPE. So here's how. You need to order on tickettome.net. There's the link right over there. And send proof of purchase to the PWR Facebook page. And thirdly, in the next or the nearest PWR show, you can claim your shirt that you purchase. So there you go.
Mhm. Yep, exactly. You hit the nail right on the head, Ken. And we're a minute away until Aaron Solo comes on. I don't think he's in yet, so I'll be sure to tell him. I'll be sure to tell him when he is. All
Yes,
right?
please, amigo. Yes, please. Thank you so
Should
much.
I should I head out and then do my moderating duties and tell him to come on?
Please do your thing, brother. Please do your thing.
All right. See you in a bit for John Cena Saturdays, and have a good interview with Aaron Solow, brother.
Stay awake, my amigo. Stay awake.
I will.
can
I will. Don't worry.
I can sense it from your voice. Alrighty. Thank you to my tag amigo Jake De Leon and to everyone tuning in this morning. Good morning to everyone in the Philippines. Oh, sorry. Good morning to everyone in the Philippines. May 2 right now. And happy Labor Day to the ones in the U.S. right now. Our very special guest has just entered the live, the hashtag PWOG live. And without further ado, please welcome one extra talented, a well-traveled professional wrestler, around 12 years of experience. And for those who don't know, he's actually part Filipino. Please welcome the one, the only, Aaron Solow. In 3, 2, 1. Let's wait for the live to connect. Here we go.
Hey,
Good
what's
morning,
up?
sir. Hello,
Hey,
Aaron.
hey, good. Was it good night over there, right? Or good morning, early morning?
Good super early morning.
Yeah.
Because it's so midnight. First and foremost, Aaron, man, thank you. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation for you to join the hashtag PWOG Live. And of course, a happy Labor Day to you. Happy Labor Day there.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, man. Of course, I'm excited to be on here.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for being available and taking a time of your day. It's very early in the morning, and you were generous enough to still accept our invitation. So we are very grateful on behalf of my tag team partner Jake De Leon. And how should we address you, Aaron? Should we call you Kuya Aaron, Aaron Solow, Kuya Solow, extra talented, Mr. Chow? I don't know. How should we address you, Aaron?
Just Aaron is good. Aaron is good.
All right. Okay. So, whenever you're ready, shall we start?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty. So let's start off with a fan question. Let's get the wrestling question. Well, all of them are wrestling questions, but let's handle them. Let me try to check. So this was from actually a comment from one of our posts on Instagram. So this is from @cocogan.1. What has been the hardest thing to deal with during the quarantine?
Just basically not seeing family and friends and stuff because I had just moved back to my home area, which is the Bay Area in California. And the point of doing that was to kind of be around friends and family more. And, we got here, and about 2 months later, it was just, you got to stay home. So we moved all the way back to see our friends and family, and we can't see them right now. So that's what sucks the most, is just not being able to see the people you care about.
Absolutely, especially if that was the main purpose of you moving back.
Yeah.
But speaking of quarantine, how are you? I actually forgot to ask. How are you during the quarantine right now?
I'm okay. I'm very much a homebody as is. So, like telling me to stay home and play video games and stuff isn't the worst thing to me. It's just it's terrible what's going on with everybody else. So, yeah. I mean, I hope we're all done with this soon and we all just get through this together.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, speaking of the quarantine again, how is it like there in California? Because if I may say, here in the Philippines, we're required to have a quarantine pass, if you will, to actually buy essentials, to go to the bank, groceries, and everything. How is it like there in California, in San Jose, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, San Jose is where I am. That's interesting. Yeah, no, I haven't heard of that quarantine pass. We don't have that over here. In the Bay Area, I believe we were the first part of the U.S. that went under quarantine. Yeah, we started, God, I don't know the exact date. It was like maybe March 16 or 18 or something like that. Right now, so what it is we can only leave the house to buy essentials, buy groceries, things like that. You are allowed to visit your relatives. It's just I haven't been just because I over worry about things, and I couldn't live with myself if I happen to be an asymptomatic and pass it on to somebody else. So I just think it's best to be on my own. But we are allowed to go for essentials. They did just make it a law where if you're going out for essentials, you must be wearing some type of face covering. So whether it's a homemade mask, a bought mask, whatever it is, um, and everything is like off limits. Like if you're caught, I believe it's like if you're caught playing basketball here, like you can get like $1,000 fine just because people can be touching the ball or the rim or whatever it is, and yeah, so they're pretty serious about it here, specifically in California. I believe the rules change depending what state you're in and maybe even what county you're in. But yeah, so they're pretty strict on it right now, and people for the most part, I believe, are doing pretty well. Like I'm lucky. I literally never. I don't even get groceries. I just do. We have a Amazon Prime here and Whole Foods pickup, so I just do that. Everything's through my phone, and if I go out, I don't even leave my car. So I'm pretty lucky with that.
Yeah, man, and like actually, yeah, you're actually you said earlier you were an overthinker, so that's actually would set your mind at ease. At least everything is within your grasp when you need some essentials, when you need to talk to your family. So although it's not the same, it's not a physical, it's not a physical feeling that you would see, for lack of a better term, your family, and the groceries at the same time. But at least you're a homebody, like you were
Yeah.
saying earlier.
Yeah, and like thankfully, there's FaceTime and this Instagram Live or whatever, however it is to talk to people. Because I mean, imagine this 10 years ago and this didn't exist. So like, yeah, that would be the worst. So at least we have this, and it's really cool. I've met quite a few people in like the wrestling world, and like people I haven't talked to are just randomly reaching out. Usually whenever I talk to people in wrestling, it's always about wrestling, but some people just reached out just to like, hey, how are you doing? And things like that, which is really cool. It's just, I've actually reconnected with people, I believe, because of this quarantine. So there is silver linings to everything, but of course, everybody just wants life to get back to normal.
Absolutely, absolutely. And speaking and well, let's try to shift gears from the quarantine, but rather to a more lighter note. You were able to mention earlier that playing video games and just staying at home wasn't a bad thing for you.
Yeah.
So may I ask, what kind of video games are you playing right now?
Man, I love Xbox, and I'm actually sitting in my game chair right now, like where I play video games. So this is the one right now, Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this actually came out, man, like 3 or 4 years ago, and it's just one of those games that they keep updating, and they keep it fresh. I play with my friends online, so it's a cool game. It's like a SWAT team type game, and play that. There's a game called Shenmue 3, which is on PlayStation, which I played the first two when they came out like 20 years ago or whatever it was, and yeah, it was when that came out, I was pretty hyped about it.
I see. So you're into battle or like combat warfare type of games, huh?
I am. It's not my favorite type, but yeah, like Rainbow Six, like shooting games, third person shooter is the ones that I like.
I see. All right. So let's try to thank you for sharing that information. Now let's try to proceed to more fan questions, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, there are a lot. Okay. So, oh my goodness gracious. Okay, from @the_Lee_Sanity, do you play Warzone, Aaron?
Warzone. I believe that's Call of Duty. The answer is no, I don't. But I do have Call of Duty. A friend of mine. So there's a friend that I play games with. This dude's name's Anthony. He convinced me to buy this game, and I knew I was gonna hate it. I bought this, played it once, never touched it again. So I would trade it in, but we can't trade it into the game stores right now, just with everything going on. But I don't play that game.
I see. But like, isn't it? Well, okay. So, not to expose myself, but like, I'm not really the biggest gamer. But
Sure.
From what I know with Call of Duty, well, the Rambo game, is it based from the Sylvester Stallone one or not really?
I'm not too sure about any Rambo game. I know Call of Duty is just its own like war style game. It's it's a series. They've come out with I believe a new one every year, and I loved it. and it was great online, and people have gotten so good at it that I hate playing, because as soon as I start up, I'm dead within 10 seconds. That's why I hate the game. The game itself is probably great. I just suck at it. That's why I don't play it.
Yeah, we don't need that negativity in our life.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to keep winning.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay. Thank you for sharing that information. Let's move on to some. Well, let's get to know you more a bit, if you will.
Sure.
Okay. So, okay, I have this question I had for you. Can you take us back to the process of deciding to use your own name as your wrestling name?
Yeah, sure. So basically, when I started training with a company out here in California, which is called Big Time Wrestling in Newark, California,
Yeah.
that's where I had my first match, my first official independent match. And they're basically like, "What do we call you?" And I never put any thought into it. Or that's a lie. I did put thought into it, but I was trying to think way too ahead, where I had made up a name for myself if I went to WWE. So I was like, oh, if I go to WWE, I'm saving this name because they're going to own it when I go there. The name I wanted to use was Aaron Owens. This is before Kevin Owens was there. So I wanted to use the name Aaron Owens. There was a and one basketball player years ago that was his name, and I thought it was pretty cool. And so I didn't want to use that. So I was like, oh, I'm going to just use my own name because nobody can take that from me. So I was going to use that. And by chance, if I got hired to WWE, I was going to go with the name Aaron Owens, which if that happened now, obviously I can't do because somebody else is going by Owens. But yeah, that's where the thought of just using my own name came from.
I see. And like with this name, with your own very own name, what was, if I may ask, the first gimmick that you had in mind?
I didn't really have one. You know, I just wanted to have my first match, and I did. And honestly, I wasn't even 100% sure if I was going to continue after having my match, because there was a period I just did not care for going to wrestling practice. And then, you know, one day I had a ton of fun. Like, there was a day I was actually going to go, and I was going to quit. I was driving to practice. I was like, I'm going to get through today. I'm going to quit just because this isn't fun for me. And I had probably the most fun I've ever had in practice in my entire life. And then it was like, okay, I'm going to stick with this. Then I had the show. I was like, I'm just going to have just one match, and then maybe I'll quit. And then one match had turned into, you know, here we are 11 years later. So I did have intent of like doing this, but there's a part of me, because I started when I was about 21, 22, and I just kind of wanted to hang out with friends and party all the time instead of taking it seriously. So I'm glad I didn't quit, because it gave me the life that I have now.
And this was during the time when you enrolled in the Storm Wrestling Academy, or way before?
No, this was so Storm Wrestling Academy came first, and then when I moved back home, I was living with my parents in the Bay Area, and then a friend of mine found a wrestling school. A friend of mine found a wrestling school out here, and so I joined. He was pretending to be me in the email, and he signed me up for this wrestling school. So that friend's name is Christian, and you know, I thank him for it, because back then I wouldn't have reached out. I would have just expected somebody or something to fall in my lap. So you know, I appreciate him a lot for doing that.
For sure. And like, no pun intended, but blessings to Christian. Thank you for doing that on behalf of Aaron Solow. Right now, because of that, you are now currently in NJPW. You've been in WWE several times. You've been to WWE train in and out. You've become, actually, I wasn't supposed to touch on this early, but like, you become the inaugural Dojo Pro Black Belt champion.
Yeah.
Like, from a tag team, well, from what I know, you didn't really start as a tag team specialist. You had some singles matches, of course, but from being known as a tag team specialist, how did it feel to be a singles champion? From one article I read, actually after 15 years, or not 15 years, but like after, I don't know, 15 months or so, at the time I was able to read an article.
Yeah, so it was a good feeling. to correct you on that, it was actually, I believe that was 9 years into my wrestling career. So, yeah, so I never like had intentions of being a tag wrestler when I started wrestling, but with the exception of Ricky, so I've been in quite a few tag teams. I've held tag titles with a few different people, and you know, it was always kind of just I was getting lumped with somebody. It was like the promoter's like, "Oh, I think you'd be good with this guy," or "I think you'd be good with that guy." So that's how I ended up like being in tag team wrestling. I was in a tag team with Jason Cade. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but Cade he's a great guy. But when I was in Florida, there was a promotion called FIP that both of us were just dying to get on, and it's funny because like we like each other a lot, but we were basically told we'd only be on this show if we were used as a tag team. So we agreed with it as getting our foot in the door, but that just one time foot in the door turned into like 2 years of us tagging together, and both of us from the second we started tagging we're trying to figure out how do we stop tagging with each other. So like because we both just wanted to be singles, there was no malice towards each other, we just wanted to be singles wrestlers. And then when I moved to Texas, I had all intention of tagging with Ricky. So Ricky's the only tag partner that I had chosen, and you know, he agreed to do the tag team thing with me as well. So besides that, I always wanted to be a singles wrestler. No promotion ever put a title on me until I did that Dojo Pro thing. So that was my first singles title, which, you know, I have it. I actually have the title in here somewhere. I'll grab that real quick.
All right. Oh, man, thank you. Oh, they actually gave it to you.
Wow. Yeah, so I still have it. So this is my first title, singles title I ever won. I still got it on me.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, so
amazing.
You know, that was a great experience too. Which that's on. I don't believe you guys would get it out there, unfortunately, but I think it's on Amazon Prime, and if the UK has Amazon as well, I don't know. I'm ignorant to what other countries have, but I believe it's if the UK has Amazon Prime, it might be on there too. But don't quote me on that.
Yeah, we won't. Actually, I think that's true actually, but like I think we also have it because I was searching while I was reviewing for this interview. I actually searched Dojo Pro actually has their own YouTube page now.
That's right.
And
Oh,
I think they uploaded until episode 13. I think.
Yeah, you're right. I think they did upload the whole series on there because I mean it's been a while. It's been about
2 years ago.
Yeah, like if you you know, like my hair is definitely a lot longer from whenever I won the title, so. You can see how long it is.
I just noticed it's a different color now, so it's not a tribute to the Tonka anymore.
Well, it's not. So it was red. So the red is when you get the red dye. Every time you shower, the red bleeds out a little bit. Because I haven't been able to get my hair dyed, it's now a like orange, pinkish, blonde color. So whenever they dye it, they have to bleach it first. So it's blonde, and then they put the red in, and it's like a 2-hour process. Like I hate doing it, but you know, I do it just cause. But you know, so I'm not doing any shows anytime soon, obviously. So I was like, I'm not touching it up, and I don't think I could even if I wanted to.
But hey, it looks like Killmonger now, so
Yeah.
I don't know, that's pretty badass still. So that's not a bad company to be, you know, in line with. Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. Actually, I wanted to backtrack real quick. Because we touched on the Storm Wrestling Academy, and you touched on being a tag team specialist. Actually, I have a two-parter questions.
Yeah.
Question rather. So I have one. Being a Storm Wrestling Academy graduate, what drove you to test the waters in the Fale Dojo all the way in New Zealand?
So with Storm Wrestling, the reason I went to Lance's school was because Chris Jericho is my favorite wrestler, right? So Chris Jericho and Tatanka, they're my two favorite wrestlers, but more Jericho as time went on. And he had just come out with his first book, A Lion's Tale. I was 20 at the time I was reading the book. So when I was reading the book, you know, he mentioned Lance Storm quite a bit in it. And so I had this stupid idea in my head that 20 years old was too old to like try to start out, because you know you hear about people and like you hear about like the Hearts all started when they were like teenagers, and like TJP, I think, started when he was like 14 or 13 or something like that. So I was like, oh my God, I'm like so far behind. I can't start now. So I looked up Jericho's age when he started. Jericho was about 18. Then I looked up Lance Storm's, and Lance Storm's was, I believe he was 21 when he started. So I was like, hey, Lance Storm had a pretty good career, and with me being a year younger, I've got a leg up on him. So anyway, so as I was searching Lance's name, the link to school popped up. So I saw it, and I gave it maybe like 2 days worth of thought, and then I sent him an email saying, hey, I think this might have been February at the time, and I was like, hey, like I sent him a long email of explaining why I would be good for his school, and which I don't think I had to do. I think I just had to say I'm interested, and he'd say, come on over, or whatever. And then he was just like, yeah, we have space. If you want, come through, and all that. So that's how I went to Lance's school, because I wasn't really familiar with the independents. I wasn't really familiar with anything. I knew of WWE and WCW, and that was it. So I just I saw that, and I was like, why wouldn't I go here? Because I don't know what it was. I think the school was maybe like, at the time, like 4,000 Canadian, but when it turned into American money, I ended up getting it because of the different rate at the time. I think I ended up getting the school for like 2,000 or something. So like I got like a big discount at the time just by using American money. So it was almost made like no sense not to go to him. He had the credentials. I knew who he was, and so I just went there. And the second part of your question, excuse me. So Fale Dojo, the reason I went there was so Bad Luck Fale. So I'm going to have to backtrack a bit too. After leaving California, I met a wrestler by the name of Davey Richards, who was a Ring of Honor champion at the time. He's no longer wrestling, but he was champion at the time. So I met him as I was training there. Fale was a young lion for New Japan. Young lions have to go on excursions, so they do their training at the dojo, and then after some time they have to do an excursion wherever that excursion may be. But for Fale, it was USA, and he was happening to train with Davey Richards at the time, because Davey, while he was Ring of Honor champion, was still kind of going back and forth in New Japan as well. So I actually met Fale as a young lion. And over there was Tony Kazina as well. So Tony Kazina, who is also a head trainer at the Fale Dojo, I already had this relationship with them, right? So, Tony messaged me one day, and he's like, do you have any interest in New Japan? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then he was like, we were talking about, by we, he meant Fale and himself. They were talking about like me and wondering what I was doing and all these things, and if I was interested to go over there and train. So I went because I was like, what's the worst that can happen? You know what I mean? It's a 3-month, like same with Lance's, it's a 3-month course. And I have this thought in me all the time of like, I'd rather do it and if nothing happens, then I did it, nothing happened, and I can live with that. You know what I mean? Like I knew I did it, and it's fine. If nothing comes out of it, it's fine. But I can't live with like, man, what if I just went? What if I went? What if I went? And what could I be doing now? So I went and did it, and the 2 different trainings was completely different. So at Lance's school, it's very much like learning the basics, learning the fundamentals. So a lot of chain wrestling, a lot of learning how to run the ropes, how to bump, like the basics of wrestling in general. At Fale School, it mimics the New Japan dojo. So what it is it's a lot of conditioning, a lot of push-ups, a lot of squats, a lot of everything, plus wrestling. And when we would wrestle at Fale Dojo, it was just you in the ring, go. So like we didn't say a word to each other. And that's something like I'm so grateful for doing, because as long as I've been wrestling and as much as I thought that I liked or that I'd be able to do it, I couldn't hang with people. If they told me go do that now, or at the time before going, and they're like, go in there, maybe I could get by, but likely the match was going to suck. And now after doing it at Fale Dojo, I feel very confident in just if somebody was like, go out there, just have the match now. Like I feel very confident and just like, okay, we'll get through it. I can make it up. You tell me what you're thinking, and we'll figure it out as we go out there.
Oh man, it's like I guess like the New Japan, New Zealand territory, for lack of a better term, or the Fale Dojo, is actually training you to the old school way. Because like, especially for foreigners and Japanese, there could be the language barrier whenever you're performing inside there. And then sometimes like last minute, okay, you're maybe out of the tag team match, go singles match, 5 minutes, go. Like
yeah, yeah. It's a great experience, and I really recommend anybody who's like thinking about doing it or anybody who's on the fence, like just do it. I mean, it's 3 months, and like just outside of the wrestling thing, like you build, and this was both at Lance's and Fale's school, you kind of just build this bond with the people that you're with, because you're all there for the same purpose. The training is however many hours it is in the day, but there's still a bunch of hours left in the day. So you guys go hang out, you see a new country, and you just get to have a good life experience on top of what you already want to do.
Oh man. So like, regardless if it's 2020 right now, it feels like at least for sure, like you're already a 11-year vet, for like if I'm not mistaken, and you're experiencing what the other wrestlers or the wrestlers you idolized before is experiencing.
Yeah.
You're going the New Japan route. Although if I'm not mistaken, you haven't really, or you've competed in Japan before, or
no,
Japan.
I've not gone to Japan. It's definitely like a goal of mine now. When I first started into wrestling, like I said, everything's just WWE, and that's it. But like, as I've gotten older, like my wants from when I started wrestling to now, like completely different. And Japan, I would love to. The guys at New Japan are amazing. It's the most professional company I've ever like been around and worked for, and it's just everybody there is so happy and so willing to help. It's 100%. Like that's my goal of where to be. But I've not gone to Japan. With New Japan though, it was really cool. So I did the Fale Dojo. There's like, and again, I did it with no expectations of finishing it. It was just to go there, train, and whatever happened. Within a month, they flew me to Australia, and I did 2 shows in Australia. Then went back home, didn't really hear much, and then they emailed me saying like, "Hey, if you're available for California, we're doing shows in it was San Jose and LA. There might have been one more." No, maybe it was just San Jose and LA. I'm not too sure, but I got to tag with Jushin Thunder Liger for his last American match, which is insane. Like it's completely insane. So like just that alone, like when I was like, man, if I didn't go to Fale Dojo, this would have never happened. And like that's so crazy that like they just chose me, somebody that's not signed to their company. They just trusted me in that position.
And it's probably all because you invested in yourself. Like your representation of like old school mentality, or like the what Ric Flair would say, invest in yourself. So like, and that's what you did. Regardless if you were 10 years in, you still, let me try go the young lion route.
Yeah.
It's paying off. I'm sure if it wasn't for the pandemic, you would have been in Japan right now.
I don't know. I don't know. But hopefully, I wish, but we'll all get through this pandemic. Just everything's on pause for myself and everybody else, and it's crazy because I want to be whatever show is on first. I want to be a part of it because man, when there's a live crowd again for whatever that first match is, wherever it is, everybody's gonna go freaking insane, man. Like everybody's gonna go crazy, and I want to be a part of that match. So any promoters anywhere, I just want to be a part of your first match on your first show with fans back.
And that's going to be historic, man. Like the first match ever in this area. Take a video of it, put it on Instagram. I don't know, maybe TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that, Aaron. As we are winding down a bit for this episode, okay, would you be okay to proceed with the segment that I prepared?
Yeah, whatever y'all got, I'm ready for.
Alrighty, so I call this segment the hashtag Shoot Your Shot segment. So it's basically a segment wherein I show photos of you from my background through the magic of iPhone, and you're gonna tell a shoot story about the photo.
Okay.
All right, so you ready?
I'm ready. Yep.
Alrighty. So can you please tell the shoot story of this one? We actually touched on this earlier.
Yeah. So yeah, we literally just got done talking about that. So again, with Jushin Thunder Liger, I was tagging with him in his last match in America. And yeah, like I said, it was just crazy. Like, so I was told about it, unofficially told about it, maybe like a month before it happened, and I thought it was a joke. Like, I thought somebody was just ribbing me, right? And then when the graphic came up, which you're showing right now, like, I couldn't believe that it was seriously happening. So we did it, and man, those guys are all great. It's easily my favorite match of my career, and it's not even because of like my performance, but just for the fact that a company of that caliber would trust me in that position. Because man, like, when you look at everybody else in the match, like, I definitely don't have the name value that any of those three guys have. So like, for them to like put me in there and say like, hey, yeah, we trust you in this spot, and for me to be a part of history, it's not highlighted on me, but just to be a part of it, like, it was such an honor, and it was such a cool experience, and it's definitely my favorite so far.
And you know what? I wouldn't blame New Japan, because regardless of how 10 years you've been wrestling, or 11, you're basically part still of the new breed. So they're investing on the future, which is you, Aaron. And I'm not just saying this to kiss ass, man. I'm just saying, man, like, you're the future as well, and probably because it was in where you're built from right now, San Jose, California. It's probably because of that too.
Well, at the time, I actually wasn't living here yet. I was still living in Austin, Texas. So I knew I was moving back, but I just didn't know where exactly, because I'm from South San Francisco, about 45 minutes from here. My fiance is from here, from San Jose, and it's a pretty expensive area to be in, and San Jose is slightly cheaper, so that's why we ended up deciding on San Jose, because it's a little cheaper here. Her family's here, and I really like it out here, so it all worked out.
Absolutely, and especially something to look forward to like that. If you were coming from Austin, Texas, then going back to like more reason to come back home.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Thank you for sharing that story. All right, for this photo, what's the story? Oh, dang it, it's too zoomed in. So basically, it's the steak and cake segment.
Cake. Yeah, so
from the up down down page.
Yeah. So that's a show that Austin Creed, also known as WWE's Xavier Woods from New Day, that's his show. I'll always talk about how I love like playing video games. I'm nowhere near the caliber of Woods, though. Woods plays everything. And so Surratt, who goes by, I believe he goes by Mr. Castle on that show now. He was going by Mikaze before, which was his previous independent wrestling name. I was there as an extra, because I've been a WWE extra a million times. So that's why I'm in like the button-up shirt, is because when you go there as an extra, you got to be dressed up. So Surratt was just doing, I guess, these challenges where he was challenging people to whatever game it was, and if you lost, like, you had to take this hot sauce. He just goes around and collects hot sauce, and he educated me. There's like a Scoville rating or whatever it is, and so we played this game, and it sucks because we did a test run before we played the game, just a quick little, like, because the game they picked, I'd never heard of it. So we did it, and I beat him on that test run. So this is the practice run, and I beat him.
But it's not recorded.
But it's not recorded. It doesn't count. And so we start playing it. And I believe we did 2 out of 3, and the game was called Nidhogg, which is just it's a very cheap, like, maybe $3 or $4 game on the PlayStation Store that Woods somehow found. I don't know how. And we were playing it, and Surratt just he whooped me in it, and so he pulled out this hot sauce, and I don't even know what it is or what the rating of how hot it was, but we were gonna put it on steak, and I had a piece of cake from catering, and I just went, it's gonna be steak and cake, right? And
Gotta
then
balance it, you know.
yeah, just to make it, just to add raise the stakes on the game. And then the hot sauce that Surratt had, like he put like a tiny drop to be like nice about it, and I put just a little more because like that little drop that's not going to do anything, and that little drop wrecked me, and I put a tiny bit more, and like, dude, it burnt instantly. So you know when you eat hot food, sometimes like you get the flavor first, and then you feel the heat. Like that was just high heat instantly, and it went on for like a good 30-45 minutes. Like it just didn't stop.
Man, you know what I don't understand whenever challenges like this happen? There's no milk on standby. There's
Yeah.
always water, which is gonna make it worse, man.
Well, I don't know if they I don't know if
That's
they
the rib there. Water on standby.
yeah, yeah. I don't know if they got this part on their camera, but my fiance actually ran out to catering, and she came back with like milk, and she came back with whipped cream and all this stuff. And for whatever reason, I thought whipped cream, so I grabbed the whipped cream. And as I was doing it, Kofi was in the room too.
Yeah.
Kofi goes, "I think the sugar is going to make it worse." And as he's explaining it, made it way worse, way worse. So I put whipped cream, made it worse, and then I started just downing the whatever milk it was.
Man, I'm sure you had the little repainting done back at home after that
Yup.
shooting.
Yeah.
Alrighty, thank you for sharing that, Aaron. Okay, next photo. This one. Oh well.
Yeah. So
got cut off. Okay.
So the two other guys that got cut off was Mecha Wolf, going by Mr. 450 at the time, and Jesse Sorensen. That's Johnny Vandal, and I forget the name of the guy with the face paint.
Kai Katana. It's actually Filipino as well.
Exactly. Yeah, he is. Kai Katana, that's right. It's the only time I ever met Kai Katana. I've never crossed paths with him again afterwards. But yeah, so this was the Cruiserweight Classic. I was there as an alternate. So basically, it was just if somebody of the original, I don't even remember if there was like 16 or 32 or however many
32,
there were.
32.
It was 32. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was like if any of them had gotten sick or had gotten injured or whatever, then we were the five on deck to take the place. That was a cool experience and a very annoying experience at the same time. So it was very cool because like a lot of those guys that were in it, the Bollywood boys who are Gerv and their WWE names and their real names are getting mixed up with me. But Gerv and Harv, they're the Bollywood boys. They were in that, and like, man, I'd met them a few times. They're Canadians that they live up in Vancouver, or they lived in Vancouver. I'm not too sure where they are now. They came from that. TJP was very well known before doing it, but that's how he became, cruiserweight champion and won the whole tournament, which was great. Lince Dorado, all those guys. A little fact about this Cruiserweight Classic that I don't think a lot of people know is Ali was actually an alternate as well. Ali was not in the original 32. I'm sure he's mentioned it, but I don't think he puts it on blast as much as, as much as whatever. But, so yeah, Ali was actually an alternate in it. And I don't remember the guy's name that he took. Maybe it was like Zumbi or something, but I believe it was a guy from Mexico that was supposed to be in it, and I'm not too sure why he ended up not being in it. But Ali took his spot. Now Ali he was on WrestleMania and everything. So it's really awesome that he got that. But like I said, it was so. I just basically said why it was cool. It was cool because it was great to see a bunch of guys on the independents get their shot and eventually turn this into a permanent job for themselves. It sucked because us five just kind of had to sit back there and watch it all happen and just be there, because I think between the five of us that were sidelined for this, were just it was almost like dangling the carrot. It was like what we wanted was literally right here. We were watching it, and we couldn't do it. We were so close, and we weren't able to be a part of it. But again, I'm real happy for everybody that had success with that cruiserweight show.
Oh well, at least also at the same time, at least you knew to yourself that WWE, you're still under WWE's radar. I'm sure until to this very day you're still under WWE's radar. So at least that's in somewhat of a case. At least it's at least you're assured, for lack of a better term, that they still care. I'm here, so
Yeah. No. It was, I mean, yeah. I get what you're saying, but like I said, our wants, or at least for me, my wants have changed quite a bit since from when I started wrestling. Even till then, from then it was still WWE, but now that is no longer my main want. So, if they wanted to, throw an offer out, or if they were interested or anything like that, I'd definitely consider it. But I love being home. I really love being back home. So there would have to be more incentive to move to Florida and do all this stuff now. So
absolutely, time would tell.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for sharing that story. Okay, so we're down to our last two photos, but we're trying to be respectful of your time as well. Would you still be available?
Let's do it. Yeah,
Ready.
yeah. Let's
Thank
do
you
it.
so much.
Quarantine. There's nothing going on right now.
That's true. But maybe you want to relax.
Yeah.
Labor Day. But okay. Thank you so much. This one, of course, we can't leave out Aaron Solow without mentioning Extra Talented, the tag team.
Yeah.
54 days as big top pro tag team champions of Wrestle Circus, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So again, when I had mentioned moving to Austin to tag with Ricky, that's basically it coming to life. We were really figuring it out as we were going along. And the whole Extra Talented name was supposed to be a playoff because me and Ricky were extra talent a million times. So that's where the playoff, but I don't know if people really got that, but that's how the name came about. So our tag run was great. I think the biggest stage that we were given for sure was Wrestle Circus. But like you had mentioned, we were the tag champs, and I think that we got the titles too late. Like it was just to a point where no one cared, and it was almost like those tag titles. So Gorillas of Destiny won the titles first, and then when they came back, they lost it to I believe Roppongi Vice was second, which was Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero, and then they lost it to Britt Baker and Adam Cole. So yeah, so Wrestle Circus when it first started was freaking amazing. It was so cool. And the promoters were really cool at the beginning, and so maybe I'm telling a bit too much, but I'm just going to tell my honest story and my side of this. So as Wrestle Circus started going on, it kind of seemed like they started to have their favorites, and me and Ricky were not in that category of their favorites, which is why I felt after a little bit, I kind of didn't really care to be wrestling there anymore, because we had actually Rocky Romero came up with it, which was a fantastic storyline. What it was they wanted Gorillas of Destiny to be the tag champs, then they dropped the titles to Rocky and Trent. Me and Ricky went to England, so we were gone to England for 3 months, right? Rocky Romero came up with this great idea. He said, while you guys are in England, film a promo, and if you guys can line it up somehow with the next show, he's like, maybe they'll play it on the little screen, and then you guys talk about how you're in England, and when we come back, we want the title shots, and then Rocky and Trent accept it, and then they play our music, we go out, and then we beat Rocky and Trent for the title. So he was like, it's like we're all helping each other out here and everything. So it was a great idea. We brought that up to the promoters, and I think because we brought it up and not Rocky and Trent, they kind of blew it off. Or they were like, yeah, go film it, go ahead. So we filmed it, sent it to them, didn't hear anything back. As we're in England, we see that they dropped the titles to Adam Cole and Britt Baker, which Adam Cole just signed his NXT contract. So, of course, what the hell are they going to do with the titles? Because Adam Cole can't come back now, right? So they had this really weird thing that it was like Britt Baker just kind of laid the titles in the ring, and then Scorpio Sky and Kevin went out there, just kind of claimed the titles, and then we went out there and beat them, and all of a sudden we were the champ. Like, it literally made zero sense, and it went from like just having this great thing Rocky came up with to we beat Sky and his partner because they just picked up random belts and they were supposedly champions for picking up these. So it all like just started going to shit basically, and like that was the end of that.
So, like a circus.
Yeah, exactly. And then there was the comeback, which they booked me and Ricky for whatever their last show was that they booked. Never reached out to either of us. We just saw our names were on the show, and then they closed down completely.
Oh man, yes, and actually, if for the viewers right now, if you were actually able to view last week's episode with Ricky Starks, who was actually huge part of you being on the show this week, sir. So man, he actually explained his part as well. And just a disclaimer for everyone, especially from the Wrestle Circus people, this is not we're not burning any bridges here. We're just expressing our feelings.
Just telling our side. That's it.
Yeah, so we're all telling stories here, brothers. Alrighty. Thank you. I don't know how we're gonna top that. We have one more photo, and I don't know what you can say about this one. I didn't know you went to the same school, Monsters University.
Yeah. So that was in St. Louis. So while I was training with like Davey Richards and all them, like I said, we just have a lot of free time outside of the training time. So myself, Fale, and another one of Davey's students who his name was Mike Dean. He went by the name of Darren Dean, who actually like sadly passed away a few years ago, who's younger than I was. When we had free time, we loved to go to buffets and we loved to go to the movie theater. So this was a picture at the movie theater over there in St. Louis, and I don't know what we were watching, but it was just one of those stands. So we all like took pictures. And man, I don't know how you found that, because I don't even know where that is in my photo library.
Oh, trust me, Aaron, it's on your Instagram.
Oh,
on the gram.
I had no idea.
So like, oh yeah, so you went to the same school? Yeah, I did it last year too.
Yeah.
So, it's horrific, for lack of a better term. Like, all right. On that note, thank you so much, Aaron, for joining the hashtag Shoot Your Shot segment. Oh my goodness gracious, thank you. And we have held you on for so long, and you've been gracious enough to be on this long. So, Aaron, man, thank you so much. But actually, before we go, would you like to promote your socials? Maybe shout out to your Filipino fans. When are you coming to the Philippines? And the guys commenting earlier, how was your coffee?
Coffee's great. It was there's no branding on it, but it's Nespresso. So I love Nespresso. Yeah. So obviously, if you're on here, you know the Instagram tag, which is Aaron_Solow on Twitter. It's all one word, Aaron Solow, AARON, SOLOW. And as far as coming to the Philippines, I don't know, man. I've seen PWR and I've seen those videos, and man, it looks freaking awesome over there. You guys always draw a great crowd. Ideally, I would love to come out there sometime, and I'd love to bring my mom. My mom, you guys have brushed up on, is I am half Filipino, which it would be my mom, and I'd love to bring her out there, and so she could see me wrestle in her hometown. She's from Manila, and I think that would be really cool, a cool experience for me, and I think it'd be a cool experience for my mom as well. So once all this is over, maybe we can figure something out and make that happen.
For sure, man. And PWR, Philippine Wrestling Revolution, is just gonna be here, open arms, just like Kuya Aaron. Been a while. Not been a while. It's about time, rather.
Yeah.
If I may ask, what was the maiden name of your mom?
Sanchez. No, I'm sorry. That's the maiden name of my grandmother. The maiden name of my mom is Kaylao.
Kaylao?
Kaylao, yeah.
Okay. How? Can you spell that?
Caylao.
Oh, Kaylao. Well, it's a unique Filipino last name.
Yeah.
Okay. It's probably one with the the Spanish mixed Spanish. Filipinos are
Yeah.
we're halo-halo.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Chinese, Spanish, sometimes American.
Yeah.
Depends. All right, man. Thank you again so much, Aaron. It's been a pleasure, and we are super honored that you accepted our requests during this pandemic, especially. And again, thank you
Yeah.
so much. If you have any parting words, maybe a quote you live by in life when you wake up in the morning. I don't know, man. Just please do before you leave.
No coach or nothing like that. 'Cause I just wake up lately. I've been waking up a lot later because I've been playing games a lot later. But yeah, I mean, like with this whole pandemic thing, we'll all get through it. We'll all be together again, and I think it'll be once we all reunite, especially in the wrestling world, it's going to be 1,000 times better than how it was when we left it because we're going to appreciate it more, right? Um, but yeah, thank you guys. This is my first IG live I've ever done. So it was really cool. I'd love to do this again sometime. You guys definitely go through have more variety. I know you guys got Cheeseburger. I believe it's tomorrow, right? And Cheeseburger's the man. Yeah, he's really good, really knowledgeable guy who's got his own wrestling school, which I think is in Pennsylvania. I think it actually might be the old Ring of Honor dojo location. So yeah, definitely be really cool to hear what he says and stuff tomorrow.
Absolutely, and actually, you know what's funny? From the article I read, he was actually a replacement opponent when it was supposed to be you against Joey Janela, if I'm not mistaken. At Dojo Pro.
Me against Ricky.
Ricky, God, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, man. On that note, again, thank you so much. Please stay indoors. I'm sure you would enjoy that.
Yeah.
So introvert. Believe it or not, I'm an introvert. I just talk a lot too.
Yeah.
And wash those hands. Social distancing, and man, please just enjoy and just be happy, man. You know.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. We'll definitely keep in touch. Yeah, just message me when we're off of this, and yeah, we'll figure out how to connect in real life once this is all done.
Yes, please, and best of luck to those clubbing exercises you've been doing. Shout out to the Iron Cheek, huh?
Yeah.
I wasn't able to mention earlier. Right.
Cool.
And again, thank you so much, Aaron,
right.
and may you enjoy the rest of the day. Happy Labor Day, and regards to
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you. You enjoy it too.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right, man. Thank you so much for everyone who tuned in this midnight. Hashtag PWOGs After Dark, if you will. Well, man, I'm just super honored. Where is the Senorito? I have to get him on to close this program. Senorito JDL, where you at, brother? And I have to apologize for all the fans, man, who weren't able to put your question or read your questions out earlier with Aaron Solow on the program. But I would just like to say a couple of shout outs to Kate and Karen, my older sister, who's here, and actually our boss, big boss, Red. No, I will not make nothing against the Zoom people. I'm not gonna make a Zoom account, man. I don't know. It's freaking me out, man. It's privacy, data privacy things. I don't know. So yeah, where's the Senorito? There we go, Senorito JDL. There you go. Alrighty. We got a few minutes left to close off this program. Mr. Aaron Solow was super gracious enough with his time, man.
Oh, job.
Alrighty, amigo.
Job, man. That was a very fun interview.
Absolutely.
And ayaw mo pa rin mag-zoom?
no, not anytime soon.
No, all right. Yeah, I understand. Like, I hope their security stuff is doing better. But again, that was a really great interview with Aaron Solow. He seems like a very cool dude, very chill dude. It was a great time overall. How did you feel about it?
Man, I was just in awe, man. He had a lot of stories, man. For all the interviewers rather, who are viewing this live or are gonna view this live on YouTube, y'all should get him more, man. I don't know why you don't get him. You should. He has a lot of stories.
For an introvert, for a self-professed introvert, he really has he has a great storytelling skill that I couldn't really feel I could feel how introverted he was, but he can tell stories really well, and it was just very refreshing to hear him how he would tell his side of the story and everything. That was great. I just wanted to point out this one thing because again, I took notes.
We got a minute left, brother. Go do your promo.
Oh, all right. So anyway, I just really liked how he invested in himself. He went to Landstorm, he went to Fale Dojo, and look where he got him. Mm-hmm. So we got a minute left. Should I go straight into it?
Right now. Go.
45. All right.
I'm just saying, man. Countdown.
All right, John Cena Saturdays for April 30, 2020. Shame is among the toughest, if not the toughest opponent we will ever face. It is never easy ever, but because it's so difficult, if we are brave enough to fight, the rewards it can yield, the rewards it can yield can be life-changing. Believe in you and never shortchange your value from John Cena. So, amigos and amigas, believe in yourself, and we will see you tomorrow for Fred Rosser and for Cheeseburger. Thank you again. Maganda gabi. And Ken,
Yes.
you can?
Y'all can hashtag that. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into hashtag PWOG's Live. We got 5, 4, 3,
4,
2,
3.